He was just a janitor to everyone else, invisible in his khaki uniform with calloused hands and quiet eyes. But to the grand piano tucked away in the corner of the hotel lobby, he was something else entirely. A ghost of a forgotten melody. Someone who once mattered. Every night, after the guests had gone and the chandeliers dimmed, he would wipe the dust from the black and ivory keys gently, reverently. Sometimes his fingers would linger a little too long, as if they remembered what it felt like to belong there. No one ever asked his name. No one noticed the way his gaze softened whenever he looked at the Steinway. No one, until she did. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unseen talent, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us tell more stories that touch the heart. Her name was Veronica Langford, a sharp, stunning CEO of a luxury hotel chain. She was known for her elegance, feared for her precision, and admired for her success. When she walked, it was as if the ground existed for her heels alone. One late evening, during an unannounced inspection, she spotted the janitor near the piano, softly humming as he cleaned. Her perfectly shaped eyebrow arched in amusement. "Veronica, do you even know what that is?" Gesturing toward the piano, her voice laced with mockery. The janitor, David, nodded gently, still focused on his work. "David, Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major," he said quietly, his tone calm but steady, though inside, his heart thudded against years of silence and shame. Veronica let out a laugh, sharp, cruel, and hollow. "Veronica, if you can actually play Chopin," she smirked, "I'll marry you." She didn't mean it, of course. It was a careless joke meant to humiliate, to remind him of his place. But David's eyes didn't waver. She turned and walked away, unaware that her mockery had just unlocked a door sealed long ago. David's past was a symphony of broken dreams. He had once been a prodigy, a rising star trained at a European conservatory. But tragedy struck. A car crash stole his mother, his scholarship, and the piano that had carried his soul. Homelessness followed. He scrubbed floors and cleaned toilets, not because he lacked talent, but because the world had no mercy for grief. His only solace was the piano in the lobby, the one thing that still remembered him, even when the world didn't. That night, Veronica's words wouldn't leave him. They echoed in his mind. Cruel, yes, but somehow alive with challenge. Maybe this was his chance. For days, he practiced in secret. He arrived early, stayed late, played in whispers when no one could hear. His fingers were stiff at first, but slowly the music returned, not just as notes, but as memory, as hope, as everything he had buried beneath the janitor's uniform. A week later, the hotel buzzed with life. Veronica was back for a high-profile fundraiser. The lobby shimmered with crystal glasses, tuxedos, and glittering gowns. A jazz trio was meant to perform, but after a last-minute cancellation, the piano sat silent, waiting. David saw his moment. He took off his gloves, removed his apron, and walked to the piano. At first, everyone assumed he was there to move it. But when his fingers touched the keys, the room froze. Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major filled the lobby, haunting, graceful, alive. The sound was like a confession wrapped in light. Conversations halted. Glasses hovered midair. Even the chandeliers seemed to listen. Veronica turned, confusion sweeping across her face. Her janitor was commanding the room, not with authority, but with truth. Each note carried pain and love, loss and healing. The music turned the lobby into a cathedral of emotion. Some guests wept without knowing why. And Veronica, proud, untouchable Veronica, stood motionless. Her eyes glistened. Her lips parted. For once, she had no words. When the final note faded, silence lingered, deep and holy. Then applause erupted, hesitant at first, then thunderous. But David didn't smile. He simply stood, bowed slightly, and walked away. He had said everything he needed to say, through music. Later that night, Veronica found him in the corridor. Her usual poise was gone, her voice soft. Veronica, why didn't you ever tell anyone? David, no one ever asked. Her eyes shimmered with something that looked like regret. But he wasn't waiting for an apology. She had made a joke about marrying him, and he had answered not with pride but with grace. From that day on, David no longer wore a janitor's uniform. Veronica appointed him as the hotel's resident pianist. But more than that, she changed. The sharp edges in her softened. Sometimes, she would sit near the piano and listen. Really listen. Not just with her ears, but with her heart. If this story touched your soul, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Every comment, view, and share helps us spread compassion, one story at a time. Before you go, what would you have done if you were in David's shoes? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.